But we're staying with this idea of worst second rounders that the 49ers have picked. Michael James, yikes. And he was picked number 61, which is bad, right? Because that's where we're picking this year. But hopefully we get something better. He had 5 fumbles and 39 rush attempts. Always got to be my favorite kind of most painful Michael James stats. Another one that was bad, pick number 40 in 2013. Tank Carradine. You remember? Probably the epitome of what Trent Baalke was. Did Trent Baalke have some great picks? Sure. But the all-ACL team, this guy was kind of the height of that. 49ers traded back, though. That was the good news. And so then this is what I do with my time, which maybe I should use my time better. I go down these like dark channels like, okay, we traded back. I want to see what the details of that trade were. So we were at pick 34. We traded back to 40. The Titans jumped up and took Justin Hunter, wide receiver out of Tennessee. He didn't really pan out. The 49ers got pick 40. We took Carradine. And then we got pick 77, and we took Chris Borland, which that's a whole nother debate and topic, whatever. Absolute home run pick, by far the best pro involved in that trade, and he was taken so much later. But obviously the one and done and rookie of the year, all that kind of stuff, he was unreal. But yeah, he says, one of the few times I was so incredibly wrong about a player. Well, like the all ACL team, right? We would all do the same thing. All right, we just got to be patient, right? We're spending a second round pick on what could have been a first round player. Oh, man. And one of my favorite things about what happened in last year's draft, you didn't draft anybody with injury history at all. The closest thing to injury history last year was Talanoa Hufanga, who got a steel plate put in his shoulder. But that was it. Everybody else, no injury history, almost, it was non-existent last year. Now, I know the first couple years that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch drafted, they did go after some injured players with injury histories early, but not last year. Is that going to continue? Now, if we stay with Tank Carradine, he started 8 games for the 49ers in 4 years, had 5.5 sacks. Just not good. Next one, 2010, pick number 49. Taylor Mays. You the Southern Cal kid, the freak. I remember this because I'm a Longhorn, and that was the Earl Thomas draft. And this is right after Pete Carroll left USC to go to Seattle Seahawks. And Taylor Mays was pissed because the Seahawks drafted Earl Thomas in the first round and not Taylor Mays. And so he was like calling him a traitor and blasting him on Twitter and all these things. And I was loving it. I was the biggest Earl Thomas fan. Obviously, he's had some rough years of late off the field. But man, Pete Carroll was right on that one. We ended up getting Taylor Mays at pick 49. 1 year with the 49ers. He had 6 starts. That's it. We traded him to the Bengals for a 7th rounder in year 2. That's how much he just couldn't change directions. It didn't matter how big, strong, fast he was. A safety that can't move, change directions is a problem. So again, I go down this rabbit hole. Okay, we traded for a 7th rounder. What did we spend that 7th rounder on? A guard who I had to look this guy up, Garrett Gilkey, and he never played in a game for the 49ers. So even the trade, glad we got rid of him, but didn't work out. He actually played for a couple years as a special teamer for the Bengals and had a much better career there than he did with us. Right here from DUX, he says the Taylor Mays pick was worth it for his Madden stats forever. Yeah, I mean, you put those attributes, which he had the long arms, right? Baalke special. He fit that, but at some point you gotta switch your hips, man. So he just never could do it. All right, here we go. Probably one of the more recent ones. A bad pick, Dante Pettis. 2018, he was picked number 44. And I remember this was in Dallas. I was down right in front of the stage at the NFL draft when they picked him. And Pettis was one of my favorites. I was so excited. I thought it was a perfect fit. It just didn't work. Now, this was a fun draft day trade. And nobody really panned. There was no winner here. We traded up. We gave up picks 59 and 74. So a 2nd and a 3rd round pick to Washington to get Dante Pettis at 44. And again, I think this was important because it shows Kyle Shanahan loves receivers. We've spent 9 out of 40 picks this front office on wide receivers, and that doesn't account for the 2 draft picks that we traded for Emmanuel Sanders. So Kyle Shanahan loves wide receivers. And we're not done. We could definitely use another wide receiver or 2. But we traded 59 and 74 to jump up, and Washington picked Darius Geis, who was off the field, which they don't care about character concerns. Everybody understood what was going on. He's done in the NFL. And number 74, Jerron Christian, who started 8 games for Washington offensive line. And we got back Dante Pettis and pick 142. And again, the same thing we said earlier. The best player involved in this trade out of all 4 picks was the one taken 142. It was cornerback DJ Reed, who we lost with that injury, but he was by far the best. Yeah, fun little whatever there. Next up, we got Chilo Rascal. And this one back in 2008, he started a lot of games for the 49ers. He was picked number 39. He started a lot of games for us, but he was bad the whole time. Just because he started didn't mean he was good. 38 games started for the 49ers, but yeah, he was just bad. He wasn't very good, but we didn't have much. Those were kind of some rough times where, again, big reason why Alex Smith was getting freaking, hog mollied back there and not successful was we couldn't protect him. Next up, this one, I almost left it off the list, and this is the last negative pick that we'll talk about. Carlos Hyde. El Guapo in 2014. He was picked number 57. And the main reason why I put him in the negative category was, 1, the end of Frank Gore, and marked that they were moving on, and that really bothered me. And then 2, dude badmouthed the 49ers everywhere he went afterwards, right? And he's bounced around. He's still going to be in the NFL. He's not very good, but he did have his best 2 years with us, and he was the regime change, right? So he came in before Kyle Shanahan and all that stuff, and he stayed 1 year with Kyle Shanahan, back-to-back 900 yards rushing. But when Shanahan came in and tried throwing him some deep routes, he just couldn't. He just couldn't. He could catch screen passes, but that was really about it. And so it kind of limited Kyle and what he wanted to do. And so after that, he was gone. So he was traded from that point on, and we just got rid of him. He was just gone. So just want to say thanks for watching and supporting the 49ers Rush podcast channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so in the middle of the screen now. And here are a few extra videos if you want to check that out for some more 49ers content. Just want to say thank you. And as always, stay strong, faithful.